Hi students, today's lesson is going to be the slope formula. So last week we went over finding slope using a graph. And yesterday we kind of did it using an explore activity, but we're going to go through everything all together. So example 1, each table represents a linear relationship. Find the slope of each line. So you're saying choose any two sets of input-output pairs. So my advice when choosing is, if possible, don't go with the ones with the negative numbers in there. And 2, go with the smallest numbers. I always think math is easier when you use the smaller number. So that means these two, all right, these two. So the change in y value, so the y is changing by an increase of 3 right now. So we're going to do plus 3, and then it's increasing by plus 1. So your slope is 3 over 1. And you're going to see, you can write 3 too, but you're going to see that slope generally, you want to write it as a fraction for graphing purposes in the future. So that's 1. Let's try another problem. So same question. Each table represents, the table represents a linear relationship. Find the slope of each line. So again, I don't really want to use this one just because there's negatives in there, and these two are the smallest sets. So I'm going to go from here to here and from here to here. So it's going to be the change in y, and I'm using the triangle. It actually means delta, which is change in delta in Greek alphabet, and means change in math. Change in math. So change in y over the change in x. So the change in y's, and the y's are always on top when you're doing slope. So change in y, so from 11 to 27, it is 16, positive 16. And that does matter because sometimes it could be negative, all right? And then change in x is increasing by 4. So this is increasing by 4, and this is increasing by 16. So positive 4, and that's going to be 4 over 1 or 4. That's your slope. And I generally like to have that m in front because you'll see as you progress in math again that the slope is going to be identified by the variable m. Okay. So the slope formula. So now you can actually calculate it by an actual formula. So we just talked about how it's a change in y. So we're just going to do the change in means subtraction in mathematics. So you're going to subtract y2 minus y1. And why you're doing it this way is because it'll actually help many times in the positive graphs. In the positive graphs, it'll keep you positive numbers, okay? And then x change in x is x2 minus x1. All right. And while those subscripts, all they mean is that this is like 0.1 and this is 0.2. That's all that it means. So you're not writing it as an exponent. You're it's a subscript. It's identifying that there is 1 point and there is another point. So you're going to be using this formula quite a bit, and you're going to get accustomed to it once again next year and the year after, and so on. Okay, so let's do some problems. So use the slope formula to find the slope of each line that passes through the given point, and I have a habit of wanting that m in there in front so badly. The more you see it, the more accustomed you are to. So let 3, 2 be x1, y1, and 8, 5 be x2, y2. And if you look at it the way they write here, I actually recommend this a lot. In the beginning, actually write x1, y1 on top and x2, y2 on the other point. That way you don't interchange them. Okay? That way you don't interchange them. And you really could have it either way. You just want to identify one of them as your 1 point and the other one as your second point. So let's do this. So y2, if you look at it over here, is 5. So 5 minus, so y2 minus y1, 5 minus, and y1 is 2. So that's where you're getting it from here. That's y2, and that's y1. Okay? And x2 minus x1, so our x2 is 8 minus x1 is 3. And now we just subtract and simplify. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and 8 minus 3 is 5. And that's it. We can't simplify this fraction any further, so this is your answer. So So your slope is 3 over 5. And do you have to write the m in front of it right now? No, but eventually you're going to get into the habit of wanting to write that m because that's what's going to happen. All right? So if you feel like you're comfortable and you can pause the video and try these two problems on your own and see if you get them right. All right, welcome back. So let's try these problems. So again, the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 is x2 minus x1. So slope. And as I said, you really want to get in the habit of writing x1, y1, x2, y2. Just write them like that on top. And now you're just going to use that formula to get your value for m. So m equals y2 minus y1. So y2 is negative 5 minus y1 is negative 1. So this is something you do want to be careful with. The negatives, you don't just ignore this negative. And it is a minus. All right, we'll go through simplifying that in a second. And then x2 minus x1. So x2 is 3 minus 1. And now we're just going back into our integer operation rules, right? So you're going to do negative 5, and the opposite of negative 1 is a positive 1 over 3 minus 1. And let's simplify. Negative 5 plus 1. You're adding opposite integers, different signs. You're going to be subtracting them, the absolute values of them, and you're going to get 4. And because there's more negatives, the answer is going to be negative 4. So negative 4 over 3 minus 1 is 2. And now you definitely do have to simplify. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2 or negative 2 over 1. Right? They both work. So this is where some of the errors are going to happen with this math from here to here. So just be careful. This is where you do need to keep practicing your integer operation rules. All right, let's do another problem. So again, x1, y1, x2, y2. So m equals y2 minus y1. So y2 is 4 minus negative 2 over x2 minus x1, so 6 minus 6. And we're going to get 4 minus negative 2 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. You can't just leave it like that. Remember, you can't divide by 0. What does it mean by dividing by 0? This actually is an undefined slope. And does anyone remember what an undefined slope looks like? That's a graph that actually goes up and down. All right, that's undefined. And that's the end of our notes. Now you just have some try problems to try it on your own. Thanks for joining me. Bye, guys.